Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
We can hear you in the jail, ma'am.
Wonderful. Let's see. Okay, on the record in the matter, the people of the state of Michigan versus Malcolm Robinson. File number is 22-03211 FY, council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ariana Ball requesting permission to practice pursuant to MCR 8.120 on behalf of Mr. Malcolm Robinson.
Okay, permission is granted. Mr. Malcolm Robinson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Today's the date and time set for an arraignment. I do have here a felony complaint that alleges that on or about July 29th, 2022, at the area of 4628 Bristol, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, that you did allegedly contrary to law commit the act in count 1 of assault with a dangerous weapon, that's also called felonious assault, and an aggravated assault count 2, and count 3 assault or assault and battery. Count 1 alleges that you did make an assault upon a Jaya Loudon with a dangerous weapon, to wit, a pistol, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or to inflict great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. This is contrary to Michigan compiled law 750.82. That's a felony, and the maximum penalty is 4 years and or $2,000 in fines. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. There's a count 2, again, assault aggravated, alleging that you did make an assault without being armed with a weapon upon a Tawana Jurdo and did inflict serious or aggravated injury upon said person, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or to inflict great bodily harm less than the crime of murder, contrary to MCL 750.81A1. Restitution may be ordered as that offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. That's a misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is 1 year in jail and or $1,000 in fines. Again, a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Count 3, assault or assault and battery, alleges that you did make an assault or assault and battery upon the following person, that being a Jaya Loudon, and that was done contrary to Michigan compiled law 750.811. Restitution again may be ordered in this, as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property, physical injury, or death to another individual. That is a misdemeanor. Maximum penalty is 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. And again, a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. I also have the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Malcolm Robinson, file number 23-02147 FY. This complaint, also a felony complaint, alleges that on or about July 11, 2023, at Martin Luther King and Saginaw, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, that you did allegedly contrary to law commit the act in count 1 of weapons carrying concealed, and that you did allegedly carry a dangerous weapon, that being a 9mm handgun, whether concealed or otherwise, in a vehicle operated or occupied by said defendant, that being a 2008 Chrysler, and that this was done contrary to Michigan compiled law 750.227. That's a felony. The maximum penalty is 5 years or $2,500 in fines. There's a mandatory forfeiture of the weapon or device required by law. Mr. Robinson, do you understand the charges in both files and the maximum penalty attached to each count?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have the right to be represented by counsel. You are represented today by the Office of the Public Defender for the purposes of your arraignment only, but you have the right to have an attorney with you to represent you at each stage of the criminal prosecution, and you have the right to have an attorney to represent you if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney and you economically qualify, you can have the Public Defender's Office appointed at the expense of the public to represent you throughout the pendency of these criminal prosecutions. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he requesting court-appointed counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and anything that you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right in each file to plead guilty. You have the right to plead not guilty, and you have the right to stand mute. If you stand mute, we'll proceed to the next action date, which will be a preliminary examination in each file. You have the right to have a preliminary examination in each of these files because you're being charged with felonies, and you have the right to have those examinations within 21 days of today's date, that being the date of your arraignment. That timeline is set per statute unless you waive that 21-day timeline or the court finds good cause for some reason to go beyond that timeline. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
At the time of your examination, you have the right to have the prosecution meet their burden, which is to establish that they have sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the crime. If this matter or these matters proceed beyond preliminary examination, you have the right to have a trial and you have the right to a jury trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to remain silent and not have silence be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. You have the right to have the prosecution prove each element of the charge or charges being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt at trial before you're considered to be guilty. You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You have the right to call your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe further a defense to the charges being brought against you. Do you have any questions about any of those rights so far?
No, ma'am.
You have the right to be considered for pretrial release from custody. We'll address your bond in just a moment. For the purposes of his arraignment, counsel, how is he going to plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
The court will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf on both files. Are you currently employed?
No, looking for employment. I work, but I work for my sister through, I got guardianship of my older sister, so I work for my sister, but I'm also looking. I do some gigs for truck driving like every couple weeks, so not full time just right now.
Okay, what's your home address?
4628 Bristol Street, Lansing, Michigan, 48910.
What's your phone number?
269-999-3911.
269-999.
31. I mean, 629-999-3911. Sorry about that.
No problem. Two 699993911. Currently scheduled. The file number 22 dash. Actually, in both files, you're currently scheduled for probable cause conference before me, Judge Kristen Simmons, Friday, July 21st, 2023 at 2 p.m. on both files. And then you have preliminary examination scheduled at this time in both files on Thursday, July 27th at 10:30 in the morning. Did you get a copy of your notice to appear on both files?
Yes, ma'am.
Your preliminary examination will be in person at the court. You can appear for your probable cause conference virtually via Zoom if you have appropriate devices to do so. You must be in a condition to proceed with court, meaning you're in an upright position in a quiet place where we can conduct an official court proceeding, okay?
Okay.
Let's see here. Are you currently on probation or on parole?
No, ma'am.
Counsel, you can address bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. In this matter, we would be asking for a PR bond. Mr. Robinson does have an established and stable place to live. He is currently looking for additional employment that is also steady. As he's reported to me, he has no prior assaultive or violent criminal history that he has been convicted of. While he does understand the allegations in this matter are serious, at this point, they are allegations. He has lived in Lansing his entire life. He has family that lives in his entire family lives in Lansing. So I do not believe he would be a flight risk. He, as he stated, is not on probation or parole. So therefore, Your Honor, we would be asking for a PR bond with any appropriate special conditions. Thank you.
Does Jaya Loudon or Tawana Gerdo live at this Bristol Street address?
No, ma'am.
Bond in file number 22-03211 will be set in the amount of 2,500 personal recognizance. There will be a no contact order in place for the protection of the alleged victims in this matter. That being both Jaya Loudon and Tawana Gerdo. You're not to have contact directly or indirectly with either. You're not to be within 1,500 feet of wherever they live, work, or go to school. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
As to file number ending in 2147, bond will also be set in the amount of 2,500 personal recognizance. The following bond conditions apply to both files. While out on bond, you're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release. You also need to make sure you appear for all of your court dates timely. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions at this time?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You're all set, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michael Robinson, file number 23-02148. Appearance, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ariana Ball requesting permission to practice pursuant to MCR 8.120 on behalf of Michael Robinson for this arraignment.
Permission is granted. Are we able to adjust the view? Because I'm only seeing their neck down. Thank you. And you're Mr. Michael Robinson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Robinson, today's the date and the time set for a arraignment. I do have here a felony complaint. It alleges that on or about July 11th, 2023, at the area of Martin Luther King and Saginaw, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, that you did allegedly contrary to law commit the act in count 1 of weapons carrying concealed. The allegation is that you did carry a dangerous weapon, that being a 380 revolver, whether concealed or otherwise, in a vehicle operated or occupied by said defendant, that being a 2008 Chrysler, that this was done contrary to Michigan Compile Law 750.227. That's a felony. The maximum penalty is 5 years and or $2,500 and fines, and a mandatory forfeiture of the weapon or device is required under the law. Do you understand the charge and the maximum penalty, sir?
Yes.
Okay. You have the right to be represented by counsel. Ms. Ball is representing you today for the purposes of your arraignment only, but you do have the right to have an attorney to represent you throughout the pendency of this criminal prosecution. And you have the right to have an attorney with you to represent you if you're questioned by law enforcement. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney and you economically qualify, public defender's office can be appointed to represent you at the expense of the public. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
Is he making a request?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, you have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say, anything you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty. You can plead not guilty or you can stand mute. If you stand mute, we'll proceed to the next action. In this case, it's going to be a preliminary examination because you're being charged with a felony. And you have the right to have preliminary examination within 21 days of today's date, that being the date of your arraignment. And that timeline will only change if you waive that timeline or if the court finds good cause to go beyond that 21-day timeline for some reason. Do you understand that?
Yes.
At the time of preliminary examination, you have the right to have the prosecution meet their burden, which is to establish that they have sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the crime. You also have the right to proceed to trial in this matter. You have the right to a jury trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to the presumption of innocence. So you're innocent until proven guilty, and you have the right to have the prosecution prove your guilt at trial by proving each element of the charge being brought against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand those rights?
Yes.
You have the right to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call at trial, and you have the right to call your own witnesses or present evidence that you believe would further a defense to the charge being brought against you. And you also have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. Do you have any questions about any of those rights?
No, ma'am.
For the purposes of his arraignment, is he pleading not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor, not guilty.
I will enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Is your address also the address of 4628 Bristol Street?
Yes.
Okay, are you currently employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
Royal Care.
What's your phone number?
269-999-3912.
Currently scheduled for a probable cause conference before me, Judge Kristen Simmons, and that's going to be on July 21st, 2023 at 2 p.m. You have a preliminary examination scheduled before me on July 27, 2023 at 10:30 in the morning. Did you get a copy of your notice to appear?
Yes.
Are you currently on probation or on parole?
No.
Are you out on bond and any other matters?
I'm sorry, say again, I'm sorry.
Are you on bond on anything else?
No.
You can address bond, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would be asking for a PR bond in this matter. Mr. Robinson does have full-time employment. He does have a stable place to live in Lansing. As he has reported to me, he has always appeared for court dates in any matter. His entire family lives in Lansing. He's lived in Lansing his entire life. He's also not on probation, parole, or bond for any matters. And this alleged charge in this matter is not inherently dangerous or assaultive in any nature. So therefore, Your Honor, we would be asking for a PR bond. Thank you.
A bond will be set in the matter of 2,500 personal recognizance. While out on bond, you have the following conditions. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon, and you need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release. You also need to make sure you appear to all of your court dates, and you need to appear on time, okay? Do you have any questions about your bond conditions?
No.
I have here the people of the city of Lansing versus Michael Stewart Robinson and file number TA 22002196. In this matter, sir, it looks like you owe a fine of $114 for parking violations. It said for blocking a drive or sidewalk from April 25th, 2022.
I can pay that.
You're gonna pay that today?
Yes. Yeah, I can pay that.
I'll note here that you'll pay that today upon being released from custody. Do you have any questions today?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, sir. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good stuff, yes, bro.
On the record in the matters of the people of the state of Michigan, versus Joseph Padilla. I have file numbers 21-02582 FY, 22-00379 SM, 18-06267 FY, 19-04713 RIOI, and 19L2538732. Council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ariana Ball requesting permission to practice pursuant to MCR 8.120 on behalf of Mr. Padilla.
Permission is granted. Mr. Padilla, I do have in file number 21-02582, a felony complaint. It alleges that on or about July 28th, 2021, at the area of 4331 Stillwell Drive, City of Lansing, Union County, State of Michigan, that you did allegedly contrary to the law commit the act and count 1 of assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder or by strangulation. The allegation is that you did make an assault upon a Brittany Padilla by strangulation or suffocation, and that this was contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.84. That's a felony. The maximum penalty is 10 years in prison and or $5,000 in fines. Your DNA is to be taken upon arrest, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. There's a count 2 of interfering with a crime report, committing a crime, or threatening to kill or injure. The allegation is that you did, through the unlawful use of physical force, prevent or attempt to prevent another person from reporting a crime committed or attempted by another person. And the violation involved committing or attempting to commit domestic violence against a person, and that this was contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.48382B. That's a felony. The maximum penalty is 10 years in prison and or $20,000 in fines. Again, a consecutive sentence may be imposed if the assault a consecutive sentence may be imposed for another conviction, that is. Count 3 is an interfering with an electronic communication, alleging that you did willfully and maliciously prevent, obstruct, or delay by any means the sending, conveyance, or delivery of an authorized communication by or through a telephone or telephone line contrary to Michigan Compiled Law 750.5405A. That's a felony with a maximum penalty of 2 years and or $1,000 in fines. There's a count 4, domestic violence, alleging that you did assault or make an assault and battery upon a Brittany Padilla, an individual with whom you had a dating relationship, or a child in common, or a resident or former resident of your household or your spouse, and that this was done contrary to MCL 750.812. Restitution may be ordered as this offense may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. That's a misdemeanor with a maximum penalty of 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. However, there is a second offense notice. It says, take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of assaulting and battering his or her spouse, former spouse, an individual with whom he or she had a dating relationship, an individual with whom he or she has a child in common, or a resident or former resident of his or her household, or of knowingly assaulting a pregnant individual by violating Michigan Compiled Law 750.8 1A2 on or about December 7th, 2018, and therefore upon conviction will be subject to an enhanced sentence under Michigan Compiled Law 750.814. That enhances the domestic violence sentence to a misdemeanor punishable with the maximum penalty of 1 year and or $1,000 in fines. Do you understand the charges read there and the maximum penalty attached to those files?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. People of the State of Michigan, file 22-00379 SM. I have a misdemeanor complaint alleging that on or about October 1st, 2021, at the area of 4331 Stillwell Avenue, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, that you did allegedly contrary to law commit the act in count 1 of domestic violence. It alleges that you did make an assault or assault and battery upon a Brittany Padilla, your spouse, and that this was done contrary to MCL 750.812. This offense may result in the order of restitution, as it may have resulted in damage to another individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual. That's a misdemeanor. Maximum penalty 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. There's a second offense notice attached to this count 1, enhancing the sentence, stating that take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of assaulting and battering his spouse, former spouse, or individual with whom he had a dating relationship, or an individual with whom he had a child in common, or a resident or former resident of his household, or of knowingly assaulting a pregnant individual by violating Michigan Compiled Law 750.8182 on or about December 7th, 2018, and therefore upon conviction will be subject to an enhanced sentence, making that count 1 punishable by 1 year and or $1,000 in fines. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Do you understand the charge there and the maximum penalty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have the right to be represented by counsel, and Ms. Ball is representing you today purely for the purposes of your arraignment, but you have the right to have an attorney with you to represent you at each stage of the criminal prosecution, and you have the right to have an attorney represent you if you're being questioned by law enforcement. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you can make a request to have the public defender's office appointed to represent you at the expense of the public. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he requesting court-appointed counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and anything you put in writing can be used against you. You have the right to plead guilty. You have the right to plead not guilty, and you have the right to stand mute. You have the right in file number 21-02582FY to proceed to a preliminary examination because you're being charged with felonies in that file. You have the right to have the preliminary examination within 21 days of today's date. We can waive that 21-day timeline, or the court can find good cause to go beyond that 21-day timeline. At the time of the preliminary examination, you have the right to have the prosecutor meet their burden, which is to establish that they have sufficient probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause sufficient to charge you with the crimes charged in this file. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right in both files to proceed to a trial, and you have the right to jury trial. At the time of trial, you have the right to the presumption of innocence. So you're innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to require the prosecution to prove your guilt by requiring them to prove each element of the charges being brought against you at a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
They have to prove each element beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right at trial to see, hear, or question any of the witnesses that they call against you. You have the right to call any of your own witnesses or present evidence at trial that you believe further a defense to the charges being brought against you. You have the right to remain silent at trial and not have silence be used against you. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about your rights at this time?
No, ma'am.
For the purposes of his arraignment, we'll enter not guilty pleas on both files. What's your home address?
1301 Rio Road.
You said 1301?
Ma'am, I live with my father, Joe Padilla Senior.
Okay, and so Brittany does not reside there?
No, ma'am, we have been separated for the past 2.5 years now. She has the children. We're separated. I'm going on with my life. She's going on with hers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is your phone number?
It's 517-243-6315.
We're currently scheduled for preliminary examination on file number ending in 2582. It's before Judge Stacia Buchanan, and it's going to be Thursday, July 20th, 2023 at 9 a.m. You have a preliminary examination before Judge Buchanan on July 27th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Both of those are in person. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get your notice to appear for that file?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
You're currently scheduled in file number 22-00379 SM to be before Judge Cynthia Ward for a pretrial. It's going to be on Monday, July 24th, 2023 at 9 o'clock in the morning. Did you get a copy of the notice for that?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
File number 19-047130T is a no license that you had before me. It appears you owe $150. Back on July 27, 2021, you accepted an offer of a reduced charge of impeding traffic. Your fine was $125. You said you'd pay by Friday, the 30th of July. It's now 2 years later, you didn't pay.
Yes, ma'am. So basically what happened, my house was caught on fire and I had to go save my son. And I suffered second-degree burns on my hands and my face. And I'm just now really getting back together, getting myself together. I flatlined. I was airborne at Ann Arbor Burn Clinic where I was hospitalized for 11 days. Like I said, I had to run in and save my son at the address that I was staying at. And it just went down from there. And I'm just now getting myself together, ma'am. I have a job. I work at Dexy. Basically, I'm on a point system. I've been sick with the strep throat since Saturday, and it's documented too as well, and my job knows, and I'm on a point system. So today will be like my third point, and I don't want to miss my job. So I do have employment, and that's the reason why I've been kind of behind in life, because the fire kind of set me back, ma'am. And I had to save my son. I had to do what I had to do. And it kind of tore me down mentally and physically.
When was this fire?
The fire was in January. And I was
January
just
what?
2021.
Okay, well, that was before you even accepted the offer.
No, it was after 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. So from there, I had to separate from Brittany.
Okay, so then that's okay. I'm gonna stop you. That doesn't explain why you didn't pay on the 2 days after you left court. You hadn't had a fire yet.
Yeah, but I was like basically homeless, ma'am. I was basically homeless. I was homeless and I didn't have nowhere to go and I didn't have anything. I was donating plasma for money, ma'am. I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't have anywhere to go at that time. I was homeless. I'm sorry.
You were homeless you were homeless when you appeared in court before me in July 27, 2021?
Yes, ma'am. Homeless. I couldn't. Yes, ma'am. I was. I will pay.
That's interesting. That's interesting because although there are allegations, you do have two files that one of them happening the very next day at the address of 4431 Stillwell Drive, which at the time was allegedly your address. And then in October, same address, another allegation. So it doesn't appear then that you were homeless. And when you appeared in court in July, you reported to the court that you have been employed for 4 years.
I lost my job around that time, ma'am. I can't really recall, but I lost my job around that time and I was homeless. I was trying to go home, but I wasn't able to go home. And
Okay, when are you gonna pay that one?
I will pay that. I get paid Friday. I go to work and I have my credentials for my card. I will pay that. If I don't pay that, ma'am, you can lock me back up. I will come to jail and I'm with $125. Right-handed guy, ma'am. I have a really nice job.
Don't get carried away, because you got 2 more failure to pays that we gotta go through. File number 19L2538732OI. You were before the court back in July 2021, and you were supposed to pay $144 for a defaulted no proof of insurance. You requested an extension until July 16th to pay, or 30 days from July 16th to pay, and then you never paid. So you owe $144 on that one. Then we have file number 18-06267. So that's filed from 2018. That was before Judge Alderson. And you owe on that file still $1,080.
I don't remember that, but I will make plans to pay for it. I have a job now. I have a job. I'm stable. I'm with my father. I overcome a lot of barriers and things that I had to go through mentally and physically, and I'm back where I needed to be at. Ma'am. And I will pay whatever fees I have to pay. Like, I have a good job, and I will pay any fees I have to pay, ma'am. And that's
Yeah, the file noted here then, back in 2021, you had been employed for 4 years. At least that's what you reported to the magistrate. You had a good job then too, but you didn't make any payments. So
I don't recall, but I'm sorry, but I will pay. And I have a lot to lose right now, ma'am. And I will pay.
okay. Counsel, you can address bonds on the new files.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we would be requesting a PR bond with special conditions such as a tether. Mr. Padilla has stated that he is currently employed full-time. He also is a father to 3 minor children, which he does financially support. Currently, he is 6 years into living in Lansing. His entire family lives in Lansing. He has reported to me that he is not on probation or parole for any matters. He does have a stable place to live, where also the alleged victim in this matter does not live at. So therefore, Your Honor, I would be asking for a PR bond. Thank you.
File number 21-02582. At the time that this case was initiated, the prosecutor expressed some extreme concerns as it related to bond. One of those indicating that the defendant has a record of non-appearance to court and could potentially be avoiding prosecution. I have 3 previous files here. All of them have a history of a failure to appear and or failure to follow court order. And then this file in particular is charged with some serious assaultive crimes. Count 1, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder or by strangulation, and then count 2, interfering with the crime report. there was a concern about the safety of the alleged victim at that time. I don't know that those concerns are imminent just because of the time span that lapsed between the issuance of this charge and the fact that he's just now being arraigned today. But there is still a concern about his ability or willingness to appear in court when he's supposed to, and to take care of court orders when he's supposed to. He has indicated to the court today, I questioned him about why he didn't pay, and that was because I wanted to see if he was gonna be honest, and he said it's because he was displaced and he didn't have a place to stay, and that he had been in a house fire. But we have files here, court files, that reflect a history that preceded even the time frame he alleged he had a house fire. One of those files being from 2018. He alleged he had a house fire in 2022, but he hadn't made any payments on that file, nor appeared to court on the show cause on any of those files since 2018. So as it relates to file number 21-02582, in which he's facing some very serious felony charges, those being assaultive in nature, and the court's concerned about the safety inherent to the victim or the alleged victim, as well as his ability or willingness to appear in court, personal recognizance bond will be denied. There will be a bond set in that case for $7,500 cash surety. File number 22-00379. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000, personal recognizance with GPS tether. GPS tether will also be applied on the felony file as well. While out on bond, you're not to have contact directly or indirectly or through third-party means of any kind with Brittany Padilla. Do you understand that? I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're not to be within 1,500 feet of wherever she lives, works, goes to school, or conducts business otherwise. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior. You're not to travel outside the state without prior approval of the court. You're not to use, purchase, or possess alcohol or drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. In the felony file, you need to report to pretrial services within 48 hours of your release.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about your bond conditions?
No, ma'am.
As to these files in which you owe substantial amount of money, you need to report to the court upon release on bond so that you can get a payment plan. I expect a payment immediately on one of these files. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I will. I will, ma'am. Yes, I will.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
Not particularly on the cases, Your Honor. However, I would like to make a request that Mr. Padilla is able to receive any antibiotics for the strep throat that he does have if he is not able to post bond for release.
Your request is what?
For, I don't know if they make that in the court or to the jail itself, for him to be able to receive antibiotics for the strep throat if he is not able to post bond to be released today.
Okay, he doesn't need a court order. He can have any medicine that he has a prescription for while he's in the custody of the jail.
Thank
Any
you.
additional matters?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, sir. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Andrew Perales. File numbers 23-00381 FY, 23-00279 SM, 23-02266 FY, 21-02385 OT, and then 21L265469
Yes,
OI. Council appearance.
and in court. Yes, and in court.
Can you mute whoever that is or remove them? Council appearance.
Your Honor, if this is for the public defender's office, we have not spoken to the defendant in this matter prior to court.
Good morning, Your Honor.
They didn't give you an opportunity to speak to the public defender this morning?
No, Your Honor.
I don't have any other files. Am I supposed to have something for Jelks, Holberg, and Brown?
No, they did that.
Okay, was Jelks, Holberg, and Brown already arraigned?
Yes, Your Honor, this morning with the magistrate.
Okay, well, Mr. Corrales is not gonna be arraigned today by me because he was not seen by the public defender's office. And he has multiple files that needs to be reviewed with them, and he can be arraigned at another time. I have to proceed with some civil hearings.
Wait, Your Honor, is there what possible way I can waive? Can I waive that, please? I have 3 kids at home that rely on me, Your Honor. I can waive speaking with my
Sir,
attorney.
you won't be able to waive your arraignment, but we will speak to you tomorrow during intakes, and then you'll be arraigned tomorrow, okay?
I can put you in a private meeting room with him now.
Okay, that'll be fine. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in there with him?
No, this is.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Why, I don't understand how that happened. Did they add him at the last minute? There was.
She added one,
It was him?
but she didn't say who it was, so I don't know, it might probably was.
Something, they added somebody who was Sylvia.
So, yeah.
Okay, I see Stephanie Pierre here. Ms. Till, you're here with Stephanie Pierre.
I am, Your Honor. We did just submit, myself and Mr. Bouchard did just submit a conditional dismissal order to your courtroom email, and I just was appearing to make sure that that was received.
Thomas Becker, appearing for Capital Park, Your Honor.
Let's double check.
I've lost your audio, Your Honor. I don't know if you can hear me.
Mr. Becker, you said something?
Yeah, I've lost the court's audio. It was muted.
Yeah, I was talking to someone in the courtroom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No problem. Did you get it? Yeah, a conditional decision for this matter? For Stephanie Pierre. Okay, we did receive the conditional dismissal.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're all set. Mr. Dowick and
Stephanie, you're free to log off.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Felicity.
Thank you.
Mhm.
and then we just have the 3 p.m. I'm not following why this was sent to me though. Or at least, maybe that should have gone to the prosecutor's office. Rita from Capitol Park.
Yes, I am. Chiquita.
Okay, okay, the parties resolved the matter, so you're free to go.
Thank you. Do I have another? Or is it just the one?
Not for me, I only see one matter with
Okay,
Capitol Park.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
On the record in matter of Todd Dowick versus Marquette Brown, file number 23-00226 LTE.
Yeah.
State your name for the record. And Ms. Brown. Marquette Brown. Okay, this matter is continuation of a hearing, and that was because Ms. Brown was supposed to provide some evidence of constructive eviction. Do you have any evidence today?
I don't, Your Honor. At the time that we rescheduled the court hearing, my plan was to go back to my storage and get those things out. And I think I did request to you that the dates that we had for June, I had a wedding to be at. The wedding of my best friend in the theater field.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So at that whole time, after all that, then my engine blew in my car. I've been in and out of the hospital, and I have records showing that as well. So I was not able to go back and get, to my storage to get proof of the information that you needed. And at this time, it's just like, I'm just overall, I still have to move from where I am now. That was only temporary because I needed to move out of his home. So I did not come up with the receipts from the hotel, or any other, the other repairs. I think at this point, I just want my deposit back. He's asking for February and March's rent, which I don't agree. I was not there in March. I was gone in the middle of February, and just overall the repairs that needed to be done in the house, and none of them were done. So I had really bad health issues, and none of those repairs were made.
Okay, but you've not provided any evidence to support that you notified him that you had vacated the property.
I don't know if he received the letter. Remember, I said I sent him the letter with the key in the mail. I don't know if he received that or not because I did not send a certified mail. So as far as I know, he's received it. I don't know. Just the same as with the rent check that he cashed 2 months later. I don't know if he received that or not, but I did put the key in a note stating that I was no longer at home.
I never received a notice that Marquette moved out. We found out that she moved out. Brad Dowrick found out that she moved out on February 28th from the tenant on the opposite side of the duplex, and to find out she moved across the street. She did not let us know. As far as maintenance, it's a licensed rental property. We took care of the maintenance issues as requested. This is not a problem. I am asking for the rent for February. And because I was given no notice, was not given a 30-day notice as required by the lease and the law, I'm asking for the rent for March. That's $1,025 per month, plus the late fee of $50 per month. So that would total $2,150. The court costs were $140.40. So a total of $2,290.40.
Okay, and then there was the issue of, it was a water heater or what was replaced?
Yes, ma'am.
And she was displaced from the property for how many days during that time?
Almost a week, for a total of 5 days.
How long did it take?
So, and this is in my civil answer that you have. So, number 5, on January 10th, 2023, Ms. Brown informed me that her furnace was tagged by Consumers Energy at 6:01 a.m. the same day, that morning. I informed the tenant by text, I have copies of this, that I would contact the furnace repairman to repair the furnace. The repairman was scheduled to come at noon on January 10th. At 10:39 a.m. on January 10th, Ms. Brown informed me that the Board of Water and Light shut off her electric. Her electric was shut off because it was in her mother's name. Apparently the bill wasn't paid and they shut it off. So we had to cancel the furnace repairman until she got the electricity back on. She got the electricity back on January 12th, the very same day that she got it back on. I had the furnace repairman over there and he looked at the furnace and we decided to put in a new one instead of repairing the old one. And I have my receipt for $2,780. So the very first opportunity, he can't put in a furnace without electricity. They don't know if the old one's bad. They can't put in a new one without electricity.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, but the borderline light and all that was not turned off due to bill, and then we went over this our last.
Yeah, I don't really care why
But
it was turned off. It was turned off.
It was turned back on the same day, and so was the consumer powers, and in those texts and.
But did you
those
tell him the
statements-
same day that it was
Yes, I
turned on?
did, and those texts you have up there that I also copied the last time that we were here, and we discussed that, all of that is there. It was turned off that morning, it was turned back on in the afternoon.
I'm looking at the text messages. I see on the 10th of January at 10:39 a.m. where you notified him the Board of Water and Light had turned off your service. And then I don't see any update in these messages until January 12th at 11:40 that the electric is back on and it's very cold.
It should have been, it was turned up, from what I knew, it was turned back on the same day.
It may have
I
been,
was-
but I don't see where you notified him.
I'm sure I did. And
You have to prove it. I can't go by what you were sure of,
I
and
didn't-
he's
I didn't
he's
bring
providing
anything.
paperwork evidence demonstrating that you didn't, so you would have to provide me something that shows, no, actually, he missed a page of those text messages. This is
It
where
must be, and I don't have those. I had infusion this morning, so I was not able to get the rest of the papers.
Okay, so then unfortunately, I have to go with this evidence, as you don't, this is what civil cases are about, it's about the evidence, so I have to have the evidence here. And I am reading what he says, and you responded to his statement or his text. We know the gas is off, the furnace is off, we have been waiting for you to, oh no, that's from Mr. Dower, to get the electric back on. I will contact the furnace man, so he's essentially confirming he's been waiting for you. That was on January 10th. I mean 12th. I have no reason to believe that he was waiting, because that's what his text message said.
Well, the furnace man came the next day. I notified them that day.
The
And then
furnace man?
within- Yeah, he came the next day.
Okay, well,
That
you have to learn, you have to communicate with
But-
Mr. Dowick, and Mr.
But I
Dowick,
did, and then also with the repairs, that he said that the repairs are always done. That is not true, Your Honor, at all.
all right, we can't deal with those repairs because you didn't bring the evidence to show me where you made,
Some of those statements are there in the papers that you have.
which statements?
About the labeling of all the repairs that needed to be done for January alone. The toilet that's up there, the toilet wasn't flushing, all of those are in that statement there. I don't have my copies with me, because like I said, I was at infusion this morning. But that was in there. I complained too much about the repairs.
Your statement here in February 14th, when he asked you about the January rent, is that you were holding February rent in escrow until your January rent is found. You don't say it's because of repairs.
Oh, it's a different statement about the repairs that came before the January issue. I've been going on and on with him and his son about the repairs. There should have been texts in there as well, but I texted son about these repairs, the toilets, the floors, the bathroom, tub, things like that. All of those are in there. The mice that took over my dishwasher.
I see a text here. It's the same text that appears based on this from February 14th. We have proof that the check was sent to him. I guess what you're talking about. I even have a postal office showing me the mailbox with your envelope in hand. You put eviction on my credit every month, even with me paying the rent, which is not fair. Every chance you get, you're sending me eviction notices, but I still can't flush my toilet, lock my sliding door, mold in basement, broke windows, and the list goes on. No repairs have been done in here in months. I'm disabled, on disability. I make sure my rent is paid somehow so that my kids and I are not homeless. You have turned my credit all up. Okay, it all up with these evictions. You wait till Christmas and raise my rent on this place you and I both know it's not worth it. Do you have January rent? You respond, I don't have January rent. Why did you not respond about her concerns about the conditions of the property?
Well, Brad Dowrick did, and Brad Dowrick's here to testify about repairs.
Well, I'm asking why you did it in this text message, because she put it in that response to you. Your response only addressed the rent.
Well, I talked to her on the phone too, and the process that we have, and every long-term tenant knows it, is Brad Dowrick is responsible for the maintenance. Everything is scheduled to Brad Dowrick. This is a licensed rental property. It's inspected by the city of Lansing. Brad Dowrick can speak to any repairs. This property was inspected by the city of Lansing last in January of 21. We were on top of all the repairs.
Well, that was January 21. She said in this text message in February of this year that there were some requests about some things she had for months, and they had not some issues for months. She said no repairs have been done here in months, but nobody addressed that.
Brad Dowrick can address it.
Okay.
He's here as a witness. to
Okay, and
testify
then
to that.
we'll let him come in just a moment. And then this text message from March 31st, that's from you, ma'am, Ms. Brown. You said there was a package delivered to 2727. Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
On March 30th, and you took it. I need that back at the address, please, today. That doesn't tell him that you vacated the property.
No, there was a package that was delivered and Amazon sent the picture of the package being there and the door was wide open. That was that part of the statement. So that had nothing to do with the repairs or me being gone.
I get it,
And,
but
I
that,
sent a
but
letter.
based on that, I'm gonna find that you did still occupy the property on the 31st of
Oh,
March.
no, but I didn't. He just said that the neighbor said I was gone before the end of February. And those texts also show that. That, of the delivery of that package was sent to the wrong address because it was not changed on my Amazon. That had nothing to do with me being gone. I was gone the second week of February from that property.
I don't see a text message about that,
About what?
that you were gone the second week of February.
If you go back in the front, I did state on there, no, I wasn't gone from the property, but I did also tell you that I sent his key and a note stating that I was gone from that property before the end of February. And he said that he didn't receive it. And I said, just like he said, he didn't receive the January's rent that he cashed in March.
Wait, you said that's there's a text message that indicates this?
I'm sorry, I'm indicates what?
That you sent the key. Okay,
No, I don't believe there's a text in those texts that I sent before, because those are from the last court date that we had. I don't think that they're in that one, no. But I did tell you under oath that I did send him a key with a note stated in it that I moved out in the middle of February. And that tenant he's speaking about, she also moved out at the end of February. And then he also showed you pictures that he's claiming that's my stuff, which was the neighbor's porch and stuff.
when did you have your utilities shut off over there?
I want to say probably the 15th, I believe, of February.
The utilities were shut off for the 15th of February over there?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Brad Dowrick might know.
Okay, Mr. Doward. You can come up. Yeah, that's fine. You raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to tell the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
I do.
Okay, and so you would have received the request about issues at the property that needed to be addressed?
Yes.
Okay, and so when was the toilet repaired?
I had no requests about the toilet, and I have text messages that go back 2 years.
Okay, what about the sliding door?
Sliding glass door, I received a text on January 10th regarding that.
And when was it replaced or repaired?
It actually was never, didn't have to be repaired because it was working properly. She figured it out on her own.
Yeah, I figured it out by going to Home Depot and buying a stick to go behind my door, Your Honor.
Okay.
There,
I'm trying to
he
find-
should have a
give me just a
long
moment, I'm
list
trying to
of-
find the text message.
I'm sorry, Brad should have a long list of texts. The last text I sent him was almost a paragraph, and it was the day that his wife was in the hospital having twins. My phone is completely dead, so I can't go back to that text, but there was a text stating.
Ma'am, you're just really not helping yourself at all. You knew you were coming to court. I
I've
put this
had-
out 2 months. Cause the last time we was here was in May. It looks
Exactly, and
like.
I've had a lot.
So
going
that
on
you
since
could
then.
bring, yeah, but you know what? You got a lot going on here. And you have a lot of allegations. And I'm just giving you time and time and time so that you can prove your case. But you won't give me anything to help you.
It's not that I won't, it's just I've had a lot going on, I haven't been able to.
Well, I think you have been able to, but I think people prioritize what they want to do. And you could have made time to get your evidence here today.
I've been in and out of the hospital.
I recognize that, but you know, the reason why you asked for the timeline you did is because you was going to a wedding.
Exactly, and it turned
So,
into a funeral.
I recognize that, but you see how you made time for the wedding? But you didn't make time to bring in any evidence. You didn't make time to charge your phone so you can pull up pictures or text messages.
Well,
And you knew you were coming to court.
I don't know what else to say. I was in fusion. I've had a lot of life issues going on.
I don't discount that.
Right.
I'm sure you've been through a lot, but what I'm saying is you were supposed to help me help you. And you brought me nothing. So all I can rely on is what I have here, which is provided by them. And none of these things are here to support what you're saying. What this shows me is that you did mention that there were some issues that hadn't been taken care of. His son says he didn't receive notice of the toilet issue.
If you go back to the text that you just read out loud, it did state about those in the beginning of those, the toilet and all of that.
Okay, what about the broken window? When was that fixed? Bring its windows.
That was the only 2 of those. They had a company.
Well, I'm asking
Oh,
him.
I'm sorry.
Can I just read you the paragraph that she sent me on January 10th? Would that help? Or do you?
No, because,
Okay.
this is what I'm reading that she said she requested for months, so maybe she had some in-person conversations, I don't know.
Right, so there were the 2 front windows were replaced by a company, so those.
When was that?
November 17th, 2021. So a long time ago, and these windows are.
What was the issues with the window and that she's referencing this January? What were the issue with the window?
The 2 front windows had, what do you call it? The termites that were coming through the window. They were inside of the home. So they started covering both of the front windows. When those gentlemen came to replace the windows, they left this much gap around both the 2 front windows. They only replaced 2 of them, not 4, like they should have the other 2 in the kitchen. So those 2, we went a whole 2 months with this much, with paper towel stuck along the panel until these gentlemen decided to come back 2 months later to fix the panel. The 2 front windows on this side, either they go up and they slam right down. So those 2 were not replaced, only 2 of them were.
So you're saying when you took this text message in January of this year,
They were talking about the 2.
it was 2 windows that still had not been replaced?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you notified him, what was wrong with the toilet?
It wasn't flushing and it run all night long. So we had to lift up the top, which is hard for me with the strength that I have to keep lifting the top of the toilet up to move something so that the toilet flushes down and stop running.
And when did that start happening?
The very beginning of January when I texted.
Okay,
And I texted Brandon a whole separate text, and I also called him. That's when I found out that his wife was in the hospital.
okay, so, okay, and
So we
then,
have had verbal
and
conversations.
then, so what about mold in the basement?
That's not in a text. It's not been spoken of. There's nothing.
Well, I don't think she would send a text message to your father with all these things of, or that she claims she complained of. If she hadn't complained of, I don't think she would tell him. If she did, that's notice right there. And he said that you took care of it. That's why he didn't respond.
I've got texts for 2 years up until the last text that was sent.
But you all don't only communicate via text though. You
Not
communicate verbally sometimes.
Sometimes, not very often, but she would put things that need to be fixed in writing.
I agree, but she puts in this text message, I still can't flush my toilet. Believe she reported that, just based off the way she wrote it there. Lock my sliding door, which you said that it didn't need to be replaced, and she fixed it. She said she put a stick in it, so it doesn't sound like you did anything to fix the lock issue. And then mold in the basement, doesn't look like nobody looked or checked for mold ever. Is that what the issue is? You believe there was mold? Was it tested for mold?
Well, I had one company come in before in the end of January. The only reason why I do not have a statement of paper for them is because I did not have the $700 to pay for that payment. I mean, to pay for that statement. So yes, it was told to me verbally that yes, there was mold in the basement.
Well,
But
unless
this
you
was
bring,
also
that's
2 years
hearsay.
ago.
You're gonna have to bring me
It
some
is,
evidence.
but it's also hearsay from what my nurses was coming in when I first had my massive heart attack. They said the same thing, you smell it as soon as you came in the door.
Okay, well, you would have to bring me some evidence to support that there was some mold, and I don't have that. So your allegations, there was some mold and maybe someone came in and tested, but you don't have the report for that. But you notified, you're saying the landlord that you believe there was mold?
Yes, ma'am, 2 years
Okay.
ago.
2 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He should have that in those texts that he has.
Well, I'm not gonna go through 2 years worth of text messages for sure, today. And then it says the list goes on. I'm not sure what that would entail, but of this list that she actually identifies with the toilet, a sliding door, some mold in the basement and broken windows. So far, Mr. Doward, you said that you didn't hear about the toilet, that the windows were replaced in 2021, that you didn't know about the mold, and that she fixed the door herself. Correct?
Yes, so there were 2 windows, they weren't broken. One of them actually, she's saying they were just falling down.
It doesn't sound like she said they were broken. It sounds like she said
Well,
there was
no.
a gap or something.
No,
something.
so that's the front windows that were replaced in November of 2021.
Can I just say?
So that went November 2021. So she's talking about you're talking about 2 separate other windows that were not broken. The seal's not bad. She's saying that when you open them up, they would fall.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, yes, when you open the windows up, the springs were completely broken. It almost chopped my dog's head off twice.
So they wouldn't stay up by themselves, just slam down?
No, exactly, Your Honor.
Okay.
So that was the same for the front 2 windows facing this way and the same for the front 2 windows facing this way. They only replaced these 2, but it took them 3.5 to 4 months because like I said, when the gentleman came and fixed it, they left a gap like this. They left their clipboard with many other addresses on there in my house. But there was a gap this far going across both the windows that I could stick my whole hand through, and they just stuffed rolls of paper towel. And that's how we lived from November to December to January when they came back and fixed those windows.
Okay.
I called him a number of times, like, it's the midwinter, these guys have not came back. My heat is going straight out of the door or out of the windows and everything, and it still took these gentlemen 2 months to come and fix these windows.
Okay, and you say you have a text message from January?
This past January? Or the January that she's claiming about these windows from 2021?
Yeah, those windows are the previous year. But the windows that we're speaking about that are in both that statement text that you have, we're talking about the two other side windows now. Because those two were not the ones that were replaced. So there were a total of 4 windows, Your Honor. They only replaced and fixed 2. The other 2 were not.
There were 2 windows, the front windows that they replaced. They shoved insulation, not
That was paper towel.
paper towel.
It was
Nobody
paper
does
towel.
that.
It was paper towel. I have pictures.
And then they came back, they were busy, and then they came back and trimmed out the windows the way that they're supposed to be. This was in 2021.
Okay. Who's Todd House? WIID.
That's his. That's just what I have him labeled under.
Oh, okay. I see here another text message where she's complaining about some issues. That goes to Mr. Todd Doward, this text message?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Again, she's complaining about some issues. She mentions that mold again. She mentioned some bugs in the wall. She mentions countertop coming off the wall for the last 7 months. Some termites in front windows. She's putting that in writing. Nobody responds to those things. Why is that?
These text messages sent to you or to me? July 20, is this July 28th, 2021?
I can't see the date on this as to when it was sent. I just see a time at the top. Doesn't tell me when.
I have in my text that I sent her July 28th, 2021, that we patched under the window, fixed the gap on the counter, door latches now, used some special sealant on the 2 holes in the basement walls, door is locked, leaving now.
That's the text message you sent?
Yes.
Can I see that?
Yeah, just that top, the middle paragraph.
I never received that.
She's from 2021 though.
Well,
We're in 2023. She's talking these.
That's what I just said. That's what you're talking about.
Well, I don't think, no, this is from this message I'm having right now. She's stating issues in 2023. You're showing me some text messages from 2 years ago.
Well, you said the termites in the windows. That's the front windows that she's talking about that weren't replaced until November 17th, 2021.
Right, but she's talking about it again in this year's text message.
Now, we're talking about the other 2.
She said big bugs coming in from holes in wall, mold in basement, countertop coming away from wall last 7 months, termites still in front window. So maybe you did treat it, but she puts a still in there. And this comes in the thread that looks like it's a one around January 10th. She's sending this message of this year.
Of this year, 2023?
Of this year.
I had, that's everything that I have regarding that. And nothing wrong with those front windows. There's nothing wrong even with those other side windows. The one stayed up, the other one did fall down slowly. It's not like it slammed down or anything.
Okay, well, I didn't see where anybody responded to her and said, no, there's nothing wrong, we fixed those. That's what I needed to see. I needed to see that when twice at least, where she's talking about all these issues, that the response wasn't just, where's your check? No, we addressed those issues. We've already did that. Nothing's wrong with your window. You already fixed the door. You never reported. Nobody ever, you can't just disregard it because then it looks like you're disregarding her request. And it happened twice in the messages that are submitted here. One submitted by you all, one submitted by, I guess, by her. I'm not sure. You don't know when you vacate, when you cut off your utilities?
I want to say it was like the 15th or the 16th, somewhere in those days.
That was my other question for you. Do you know when the utilities were cut off? Did you have to go in and put utilities on in there?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure. We had scheduled.
This is in February. If she cut off that utility, you could end up with a pipe freeze.
So yeah, I don't think it was off then.
Just because there was no pipe freeze doesn't mean it wasn't off.
As you could have, see, there was no electricity, no heat or in there.
We found out she was gone on February 28th. Brad went over to the house. The neighbor told him. At that point, we had no notification.
Okay,
That she
sounds
moved.
good. All right, I believe she was gone in February. She said it. You found out she was gone in February. I do believe that there was issues that she notified you of that were not properly addressed. There's no reason for you to say to me that she fixed the door issue herself. You gotta go and inspect that if she reported it as an issue. It can't be that she put something in there. She's putting in the text message, this is still happening, but no one's responding, saying, oh, we addressed that, or that's not the truth. We sent somebody out, nothing's wrong with their windows. Nobody's put anything in writing to refute what she's saying. And she's talking about garage full of, well, I'm not gonna repeat what she says, in one sentence, and something about dead cats and mice and rats on the porch, and trash on her side of the driveway, and a driveway full of water because of trash in the driveway. And the yard that's over drained. I don't know what that means.
The neighbors would have so much trash and the drain was clogged in the driveway. So you couldn't pull in and get out because it'd be all the way up to the car.
She dragged these text messages as if she's complained about these things before. And no one responded and said, hey, we never heard about this. You never said this to us before, or we already took it. Nobody responds twice about that. So I'm going to find that she was constructively evicted and left in February. She's responsible for February. So I'm splitting the baby. She's going to pay February. We're going to wash March. That's $10.25 plus a $50. How much was the late fee? $50 late fee. $10.75 plus $140 court costs and 40 cents.
Yes.
So then what about my deposit?
Well, you'll have to get a statement. They can itemize what the issues were once you vacate the property, and then you guys can deal with that. I'm not, the deposit's not before me at this point. This was about an eviction. Maybe you have a deposit with them and that should be returned, maybe you won't, but you won't find out till you get an itemization from them. Did you all give her a disposition or anything of
Never
the?
sent us a new address.
Okay. And I think I addressed this the last time about vacating the property and how you do yourself a disservice when you don't notify the landlord because you're upset that, hey, I'm vacating, I want to return your key and I want to walk through because I want to show you that I'm leaving your property in broom swept condition because I want my money back. I don't want you to come in here later and have a party and blame it on me. That's your responsibility.
I get that
And
now.
yeah, you do yourself a disservice when you do that.
I had the time I called Your Honor for even repairs, I wouldn't get no one.
I recognize that, but at the bare minimum, and we're living in a technology age where everybody knows how to use their phones very well. If you couldn't get a response to them, hey, here's a picture of here's a video of how I'm leaving your house, here's pictures. Something to preserve the evidence to show that you did what you were supposed to do versus, well, I was upset, so I mailed the key and leave it at
Yeah,
that.
I did, and I still don't believe that he has not got it, just like the check. He got it, I sent the check in January, he cashed it in March. Same issue is what I feel about the key in the note stating that I did move and here is your key. So I don't believe that he did not receive it, just along with all the rest.
Okay, I'll allow you all to work out your deposit or security deposit issues, and then if you feel, ma'am, that that should be returned to you or it's not lawfully returned to you, then you have the right to file a claim for that purpose, okay? Judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,215.40.
Also stated in the last court about the days of the hotel.
Yeah, you were
taking
supposed to
off.
bring me the evidence of the hotel stay, but you never brought it. I can't consider it. I don't know how much hotels cost or how long you stayed there. Even based on the evidence I have here, I see where he sent someone the day he found out it was turned back on. Because I see where he sent someone immediately. So I don't see where you were displaced. You would have to show me otherwise.
Okay,
Because his records that he provided show that you didn't tell him that it was turned back on the same day. You told him 2 days later. Well, I read it myself.
yeah,
It said
I'll
you,
have to go back through my phone and things. but I
he
did.
said we were waiting for you to let us know. Is what he said in the text message. You didn't say, I already told you. The same thing I'm using against him, I used against you. You didn't say, no, I already told you.
In my text, yeah, because that happened on a Monday and me and my kids are not at the house on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I do believe. We didn't come back home until like Thursday or Friday. I think I stated that to you before.
Right, but
Because it
then
was-
I only can go by the evidence that I have before me. I have his text messages where he says to you, the 6 o'clock in the morning when he got your text, first thing, when this happens, I'll send someone out. So he's sending someone out, then you contact him back and you say the electricity is off or something to that effect. And so he has to reschedule. I don't see any other communication until 2 days later. When you say the electricity's back on and it's cold in here, and his response is, well, we've been waiting for you to let us know the electricity's back on. I don't see in there where you said, I told you that 2 days ago. I don't see that.
Mhm. But that all was done after, because the borderline light was turned off after the consumer was. So really, he had that time in order to do it. They turned the borderline water off for the same reason. The bulb was turned right back on, and the consumer was turned back on like within hours. So he still had that whole day and that time or whatever to get that done before the borderline light.
But he's saying he wasn't notified that it was back on.
He was notified.
But that's
yeah,
not what his
that's
text
what you're
message
saying.
said.
So
His
I
text
have to-
message said
yeah.
he was waiting.
I'll go back through, but yeah.
Okay, that being said, that's the judgment in favor of the plaintiff for $1,215.40. And was there anything else for the record?
So you said I have to discuss with him about the deposit.
Yeah, he'll give you, he should be giving you some sort of statement about what your deposit was and what he believes should have been deducted because of what he claims you would be responsible for. If he had to remove trash from the property or whatever, that he's gonna give you an itemization of that, and then you have the right to dispute that, but you got to get that done first. And he said he didn't have a forwarding address for you. So you all can discuss that off the record. If you feel like you need to file a complaint regarding your security deposit, you have the right to do that, but it's not going to be addressed under this because you haven't filed a complaint for that, okay? Okay, and for all we know, he may felt like you left the property in broom swept condition and give you your deposit back. I don't know. I'm not in his mind. I can't tell you that. And I don't know what the property looked like. I vaguely remember some pictures, but I don't know. That'll be for the court to decide if that dispute comes before the court. Okay, any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're all set.
Thank you.
Did you find someone to arrange that back?
Magistrate.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring it. No,
This is his exhibit. Okay. Where is that? Just the attorney and the defendant for now. Okay, on the record, in the matter of Edgewood Villas versus Desiree Henry, file number 22-03865 LT. Appearance, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brian Lum on behalf of the plaintiff.
Okay, and then Ms. Henry is present today in court. And we adjourn this so that you can provide me with some paperwork today. And then I also needed, I requested some information from the plaintiff. Did you have that information?
Oh, yes, sir. Our records show you asked for housing commission notices, changing the rent,
Correct.
maintenance requests, and the budget for the housing permits.
Yes. Okay, I have a maintenance request here. Was this provided? Yes, ma'am.
With some of those maintenance people, they weren't even there when I asked for maintenance stuff. There was another lady there. Some of the stuff I asked for her, like I said before, wasn't able to call up. I was calling up there, and they were not working there. It was another lady that worked up there. She doesn't work there any longer. But that lady, I really wish I could get in touch with her because I was trying to get in touch with her before I got here because she ride bikes and stuff. So I know I can get in touch with her. But I tried to get in touch with her, but I can't get in touch with her. She would have been able to, say that I came in there and said all of these, because when I first came in there, she told her, she was like, well, since you new here and you just started here, this going on, this going on in Desiree's apartment, is what she told her. And then that was that. But like I said before, I called a couple times and I did go up there a couple times.
Okay, I just have a question about how these maintenance records are generated. So who's your witness that could testify as to this?
Ms. Eller.
Okay. Swear you in. Please solemnly raise your right hand. Please solemnly swear and affirm to tell the whole truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
Yes.
Okay, you can have a seat. Okay, I have here what appears to be a maintenance request. It says Desiree Henry. How was this document created?
What's this document?
I'm sorry?
What's her name?
What's your name?
Martha. Alert.
Eller. And spell your name again. I know you testified the last hearing.
EHLERT. It's my last name.
Okay, how was this document created?
It can be created several ways. She can put a request in through her resident portal and it will generate in the system.
No, I want to know about this document. This looks like it was made in Word. I'm asking her.
I created that.
You created this?
Yes, Your Honor. I created that this morning. Try to explain to you.
Okay, how do you all, there's no system that keeps record of your requests?
Yes,
Okay, where's the record from that system?
it's within our software. And he probably generated that as a report to generalize.
Is that what this is afterwards? What is this
From the
afterwards?
software.
Those are pulled from the software. The cover sheet was to try and
Okay,
summarize them.
okay, so when there's a request made, it goes into the system and it generates something like this?
Correct.
That I'm looking here? Okay, and so it says,
Various ways to pull that.
okay, sounds good. So this is just a cover sheet. Okay, very good. And then I see here, well, we don't need to deal with June 2023 because that was recent.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I mean, the start date is at the bottom of that page. That was created originally.
Oh, no, what I was saying is I don't want to look at this report, this request from June 23. I'm gonna go to the,
It starts here at the bottom, November 3, 2021. Starts at the bottom and goes up.
this still, the bottom of my first page still says June 21st, 2023. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to the back. It says November 3rd. On my last sheet is a request that looks like from November. My second page, the bottom says June. I don't know if yours is different than mine. This is a request. It looks like June 21st, 2023 at 1:12 p.m. Entry added Sherwood or Jonathan is the only one that can go in. That's what I see as my page.
Correct, because the other ones were thieves and they were coming in there and I was not allowing them.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to make sure we have the same pages.
Yeah.
And some of all this stuff.
Ma'am, this is not your time to shine. This is your time to listen and then you can shine, okay? Let's see here. Emergency. So I have one that looks like it was created back on November 3rd, 2021 at 2 p.m. assigned to Armando Hernandez. You see that, Mr. Lum?
I do.
It says, description, City of Lansing violation, fines if not repaired quickly, Unit 6, first floor furnace due to age and or condition. Let's see. It says that the status is canceled. Why would it say status canceled? What does that mean? Do you know?
It either means it was resolved prior or there was an internal reason in 2021 that it was canceled. I couldn't tell you for certain because I was not present. None of the original staff is.
Okay, let's see. What it says here, open to cancel, internal note added, cancel, assigned to, doesn't give an indication. Oh, maybe here, it says permission to enter denied. Would that be a reason why it's potentially canceled?
It could have been.
Okay. Okay. Let me note that here. That's the only thing I can see. It doesn't show me that it was resolved, but it does say City of Lansing violation, so I don't think that permission denied would work if there's a city violation that would require them to enter for that purpose. Let me see here. Canceled likely due to entry denied. Okay, and then I see a December. Fix all weather stripping. Can you please repair or replace? Let's see. Says canceled. Not sure why this is canceled. It does say permission to enter was granted. But you wouldn't be able to advise as to why it says canceled. Someone who was there at the time could explain that, correct, ma'am? What date is this from? This was from December 2021. Yeah, December 2021.
I was not present in December 2020.
Okay, sounds good. Just a moment, Ms. Henry. High priority. Let's see. Okay, were you present November 2021?
No, I was not.
Okay, what about March 17th, 2022?
I was not present until June of 2022.
Okay, sounds good. Ma'am, you had your hand raised for a reason?
Yeah, because this right here says, deny Ashley Henry, that's my daughter, and it says City of Lansing. I mean, and then I read back here, it says that she was gonna be fined for violation for what?
I don't believe that they were saying that Ashley was gonna be fined for a violation. I don't think that's what they were saying. I think they were saying that the city could fine them in violation because of the issue with the furnace. Look, it's a code violation, that's what I believe. But
Yeah, I don't understand why they put my daughter.
maybe because she was the resident who was on the phone or home. That's probably why.
I don't
That's
have a
what-
phone and
But I don't know. I can't speak to that.
She's 12.
It's really not germane at this time anyway, so we'll deal with that later. Okay, and then I also have rent changes notice from Lansing Housing Commission. And it looks like her rent changed effective July 30th, 2021.
Can I say something else about this?
Give me a moment, ma'am. Okay. She moved into the property July 2021, is that correct? Or do you know? And when did you move into the property?
I moved into the apartment in June.
2021?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like your rent changed in July 2021. And then it looks like there was a rental change in November 2021. In July 2022. It's 2022, okay. There was multiple rent changes, it looks like, up until the current time. And then,
Yeah, but that's 679 ain't it?
I'm sorry?
The rent that she put on here that and then they got it on here too. The 3 Septembers I was telling you about.
Okay, let me go back. September 2022, is that what you're talking about?
Correct. The September 15th.
Where it says.
Remember, my rent supposed to be, I changed to 676 and 636. 2 times. That's what she said. She said on here, she had, I mean, on the other one that they had my rent for 636, and then it was at 676. And she said that it was because the Lansing Housing switched the rent. It changed. On here, she has the same thing. She has the 3 Septembers. There's a September right here on here too. If you go here, there's September right here where you first began, where it says monthly payment.
What are you looking at? You said September right here. What are you looking at?
The back of the paper.
Which
that he
paper?
just gave
Show me the
me.
first page. Okay, the ledger,
Correct.
subsidy ledger.
And then on the back of here, it states that September 28th, and then it goes to December, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May.
Okay. What are you alleging here?
Right here is the 3 Septembers again. All of them are, got the housing payments right here. So it's about housing payment right here, charges.
For 766.
403. Then she got one on here for 448. Then she got another one up here for 448. The one on the back is for September 21st, and that is 556.
Okay, I can see that, but I'm not sure what you're saying. Like, what does that have to do with the 636 that's on the other ledger?
That's what I'm saying. The 636 is not on a letter. She got two 636 and one 679 on the other one, the one that we seen in the beginning. It's why we had to bring the stuff back in the first place. And then on here, she got the same thing. She got the housing for September, and it's all in between the months. Again, August, September, July.
September 2022 is the time frame that you're questioning, and the amount you owed in rent. Is that accurate?
Correct. She said I owe 76 on one of them, and then the other one was 636. But they never changed it. Section 8 never changed nothing when they did.
Well, we have the forms. Let's see what it says on here. Here, August 1st, 2022. It looks like there was a rental change. Total resident rent 636. It says the housing assistant payment will be 448. Do you see that?
That was all for August. September, and they never changed.
August, same thing.
On here on this September, even say 403, and then it go to 448.
I'm not sure what you're saying though. What?
Like on my other one is the 3 Septembers that's on there.
It says on here 636 would be your amount of rent.
Correct. That's what I'm supposed to pay. But on one of them, it said 676 and one.
Which one?
Two of them had. I don't got that one no more.
I'm looking at that. I don't see anything that says 676.
Was it 646 or 6? It was higher than
I
the
see
other
636.
But you got look, it's 3 Septembers on there.
636. That was just the date they went in there and changed it. So September or September 15th, they went in and adjusted, I guess, your July rent.
And so they went in there August and adjusted the September rent again for these are for the Lansing housing ledgers as well. And then they went in there on July 1st and changed it again for September. So they went and changed all of these for September, July 1st, August 1st. All of these was changed for September.
No, in September they went and changed it because your rent had changed.
I got that part, but if you look on the part where it says date posted, July 1st, 2022, September 15th, 2022. Correct. August 1st, 2022, September 15th, 2022. September 1st, 2022. How did they change all three of them in different months?
They didn't change them in different months. They changed those 3 months on the same day.
On different months? So I'm confused on the post. You said it was
September.
Posted.
So in September of 2022, they went in and put a manual change to what your rent should have been during those months.
Of September?
No, not of the September, of the July. There was a September and there was October. They went in and put a manual change into those dates based on what this rental change notice stated.
But I still don't get why they got a check from Lansing Housing for 403 and then they got a check for in September.
What day did they get a check from Lansing Housing for 403?
In September 15th, right here where it says July 1st, 2022.
Which ledger are you looking at?
The Lansing, the ledger, the subsidized Lansing Housing one, I guess.
September
Correct.
2022, it says payment of 403.
Correct. Then you go up again.
July 7th, 2022. It says it on here. If you look at the letter here from July 1st, 2022, it says these changes will become effective July 1st, 2022. Housing assistant payment 403. It says that on your rental change notice.
Man, that's not what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm talking about the 478. 478.
478 where
they brought you this one where it said that they went to 403. She sent me 2 papers out in the same month of these. I have the ones at home the same way. Why would I have if my rent was changed to 403, why would it go to 448 on September? Why would they pay 448? Why would Section 8 pay 448 if they were supposed to be paying 403?
It says here, if you look at these notices, that there was a rental change on effective July 1st, 2022. 403 will be the rental assistance payment. August 1st, 2022, it says it was 448. It changed to
Okay,
448.
this was June and July, right?
And then August 1st, 2022, it changed to 448. So that's why they paid 448.
Correct. But why do I have 2 months up, all 3 of these months of September on here? 2 months of September say 448. One of them say 403 for September. And it didn't change my rent, change August 1st for $448. Like you stated on here, my rent was $403 that they were paying in July.
Correct. July 1st, 2022.
Correct.
It says date post. Housing check 403.
Okay, but on here it says September 1st.
That's just the date. Forget that line. That line don't count. Don't even look at that line, because it's screwing you up when you look at it. It don't even matter. Look at the date post and see how much they paid, because you're looking at when they went in there and manually created it, and for some reason you're factoring that into them charging you for September.
Exactly, because they've been charged.
They did not charge you. That line does not mean that they charged you multiple times, ma'am. That means, and she stated this on the record last time, that they went in and made a manual change on that date to what your rent should have been. So your July 1st, 2022 rent, it looks like September 2022, they went in there and made a change. It said it should have been 403, and that's what it says on there. There was 403 was the housing check that was received.
Okay. And I still don't get why that I have the 3 months of September on the other one as well.
It's the same thing, for the same reasons when they went in and changed it. But you don't need to worry about that, because now that I have these things, I'm going to sit down here and meticulously audit it myself. And so I'll tell you if it was charged appropriately. And I'm also going to, I had already told you at the last hearing that your lease did not provide for you to have to pay certain utilities when you first signed the lease.
Correct.
That switched. So I'm not holding you accountable for that amount prior to that switch. You're responsible after that switch, because you signed agreeing to that after the fact.
Yes.
But prior to that, I'm not going to hold you accountable, because you signed a lease with the understanding that you would not be responsible for that. So that cost will be subtracted from your total amount, plus any late fee that accrued because you did not pay that amount. So you don't need to worry about that. I asked for the ledger because I'm going to do the work to figure out what was supposed to be paid by the Housing Commission and what was paid. So if they were or did charge you multiple times for 1 month, I'll get to the bottom of it. So let's move on to the next issue. What's the next issue?
Oh, it was just the stuff that was supposed to be fixed in the unit.
Okay, you were gonna bring me some evidence.
They stated they were gonna come and fix the stuff between June 22nd and June 30th.
What stuff?
All the stuff that needed to be fixed on this list. So the guy came and brought this paper to me on June 22nd, the day they sent me this on my door. He came over on June 22nd, he looked at everything, took every fire thing that's up in my house down the day, June 22nd. I still don't have none of them. It could be a fire, and we don't have a fire.
Fire detector.
None of them have it, because all of them.
What is on that list? Can you read it to me? That was supposed to be fixed?
The kitchen sink, the living room ceiling, the smoke detector, the kitchen security door. That's the door that I was talking about, where I was asked for them to come fix it, and magically they canceled it. The kitchen ceiling, he stated that the kitchen ceiling, like, to me, I think I told him it was just like dusty water or something. The man said that no, it looks different. That's not what it is. He told me that's not what it was. The maintenance man came in, Jeff.
What is it? You spilled something on there?
Yeah, this is the one that I had at home that was just laying around my house. This is the one that Section 8 sent me that needed to be fixed.
Can you make a copy of this list? Mr. Lum, you have a copy of that?
I might have that.
We need a copy. So the same list?
Yeah.
Okay.
The same one. And then it states that the bathroom, the bedroom, the bathroom
And
toilet.
that's the notice you're saying they're gonna come and fix it, is what you're saying?
This is the notice that they sent to me and so told me that they would be to my house to fix the stuff. And they sent Jeff around there because Jeffrey, that's his name, but he said Jeff, they put Jeff on the paper. So when I said, yeah, Jeff's supposed to come fix it, he was like, yeah, I'm Jeffrey.
Okay.
Damn, he's really a nice guy. Like I said, I'm not gonna bash him because he's really sweet. He comes in, he told me he was gonna come back and fix the stuff. He never came back. Then when he did come back to come fix the stuff, that was when my brother was there. And I had told my brother, you know what I'm saying? This was prior to them coming to my home, like in May. I said, they want to keep on acting like they don't want to come fix some stuff. Don't let them come into my house to try to fix anything if they can't do anything when I ask them to do. So now that the Lansing housing comes, that's when they want to say, oh, well, let's go fix some stuff. I said, okay, that's fine. But my brother, he came over and the man came over to, I don't know what he came over for, but my brother told him I wasn't home and that he wasn't going to let him in the home because I wasn't there. I said, okay, that's fine. The next day, I got this. They said they were going to come in.
What does that notice say?
This notice is to inform you that the mansion will be coming to your unit to complete some work orders that your housing agent found wrong with the unit. The dates are following: 6/22/23 to 6/30/2023, between the hours of 9 and 4. If the maintenance cannot get in, we'll continue to enter the issue a part of your housing because they're gonna basically enter my home anyway, is what they're saying to me. So I literally.
Well, you can't ask for all these repairs, then you don't let them in.
No. That was prior to this. My brother, when I had told him don't. This was before this. This was when I came to court and I talked to you about it and we basically had our issues. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, that's cool. Like I said, then I got this letter the next day. After I got this letter, I was like, okay, that's cool. But even if that was the case, why didn't he just go in? Why haven't they just went into the unit after these days? I haven't been home. I have not.
What other evidence did you have, ma'am?
I mean, that's all I have right now.
I
have my daughter right here to state that about the mice and the stuff being on top of the stove that you asked me to. I can't bring the pictures or proof to you, but I have the ceiling in the bathroom is getting worse and worse. It's like,
just worse.
Yeah, it's super bad. Like it started little, it's like the whole halfway of the whole, like basically the ceiling. It's like basically black mold. I talked to my neighbor. She told me that she had mold in her stomach. I said, how did you get mold in your stomach? She said, I went to the doctor. They told me that I had black mold. I said, well, how did you get it? She said, well, look at this, look at that. I looked at her unit. It was black mold all around her back, her windows and everything. I said,
that may be the case, but we have to deal with your unit, ma'am.
Right.
I have here a list of deficiencies. It says there's a sink issue, dishwasher not working, ceiling leak. Let me read and don't interrupt. Ceiling leak needs repair in the living room. It says smoke detector, batteries are needed. Kitchen security door not sealing properly, allowing bugs in. Ceiling condition in the kitchen, staining on ceiling above sink, stove and sink. Toilet loose, leaking. There was a flush issue in the bathroom. It says bathroom or other room used for sleeping, smoke detector issue, bedroom or other, more smoke detector replacement needed. Window not closing or sealing properly in 2 rooms. It looks like dining room, light fixture broken, door damaged in the bathroom. Okay, it says here there's a black-like substance in the bathroom, and then evidence of roach and mice infestation. Okay.
And on here it says that this stuff needed to be done before today. They still have failed to come to try to even do anything. They out there busy worried about other people walking into these units that's not even nobody vacant. There's nobody living there. They're too busy trying to put everybody into different units and to putting people into different houses out there. They're not worried about how we're living, how the conditions are, or any of that. They don't really care. I see the maintenance man walking around picking up trash. I have a camera in front of my home. So when they come around and picking up trash and stuff, I literally watch them walk over my door, picking up anything. Like I pick up my own trash if there was trash in front of my house. But I have little kids that live next door to me. They have chip bags. They have all kind of little stuff. And they like literally leave it all on the porch. I have to pick it up from these kids. I have to pick their scooters up and take them and put them on their porch. That's what kids do. But it's just the principle of, You stated that I have not asked, but you wasn't there when I asked for all of these things to be done. And then the maintenance people that you got there, they weren't there either. There were new maintenance people.
Who said you stated? Who are you talking to?
I'm talking about
Oh, she wasn't there. She said she wasn't there. She doesn't know.
Exactly. You can't say that I didn't get this ask for these things to be done.
She didn't say that. She said she wasn't there. She can't speak to that.
But prior to that, she told me that I asked for that they came here and fixed these problems for me because basically they were already done.
Okay. She didn't say that under oath though. She said, you mean in a private conversation?
Just when she was in here and she was up there talking, she was stating that I didn't ask for this stuff to get done when I created stuff. That's when you saw her.
Okay. I don't know that she can speak to it because I just went through the list of maintenance requests and she just shared that she was not there.
For this stuff these things up here, like the stuff that's up here, and then like this stuff like down here. When I called and asked for the tub and the sink and all of that stuff for my front door that got kicked in, that I had to fix by myself, and it's literally not fixed. They came over there and put some tape type of glue stuff on the door. I had the police call them to come fix the door. They still did not come fix that door. The door still ain't fixed.
Why didn't you bring me a picture of the door?
I do. I have a picture of the door. I took a picture of it. This is the door. That's the stuff, that brown stuff that they put on here.
Show Mr. Lum the
is
picture.
the stuff that they came to just put on the door. Like,
and when was the door broken?
It literally probably was like last month.
The door was broken last month. Why? How did it get broken again?
Some kids was playing around and they kicked the door in. That's
kicked your door in?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a camera, so
let me see the picture.
When like I said, I called the police and I showed the police.
And you reported the door needing to be fixed to your landlord?
Yeah, I called them the same day.
This is the front door?
Correct. I called them and left a voicemail on a maintenance emergency number. The lady told me that that's what she said here. They maintenance emergency number wasn't working. So then the police had called and left a notice too. The next morning they came over there and like I said, they put that brown stuff. That's all they did was put our brown stuff on the door.
Okay, anything else, any other evidence you want to share today?
I mean, no, because I mean, this right here proves it all. Like, I was gonna have my daughter just tell you know, like about mice, they be climbing on the stove and stuff like that.
Oh, you wanted to call your daughter as a witness as to the conditions? I don't dispute that there's an infestation. It's noted here in the paperwork.
Yeah, not only, I mean, yeah, that's all.
Okay. And did you have another witness that you wanted to call?
I have a maintenance man.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know him either.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can have a seat. State your first and last name and spell both of them.
Michael Moore, MICHAEL, MOORE.
Okay, you can proceed.
Mr. Moore, did you receive a notice from the Lansing Housing Commission about this?
Well, can you have him tell us what his position is?
I'm the maintenance supervisor at Edgewood Bills.
Okay, maintenance supervisor. How long have you been there?
Since last November.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Mr. Henry, have you?
That's Mr. Moore.
Sorry.
That's Mr.
Henry, yeah. Mr. Moore, I apologize. Have you been to Miss Henry's unit?
I have. I did get a list of things from Lansing Housing Commission. When it was brought to my attention, I immediately went to her unit. We kind of did a walkthrough. I believe it was like a Thursday afternoon, and we agreed that I would be coming back following Wednesday at 10 a.m.
And following Wednesday, did you go back to Henry's unit?
Actually, prior to Wednesday, I was notified that she was not going to allow entry into her home.
How were you notified?
Natasha, the leasing agent at the office.
And since then, have you to go back to Miss Henry's unit?
I have not.
Do you know if any other maintenance people?
I believe Jeffrey has. To be very honest with you, I don't know what he has taken care of over there. The last I knew, like I said, she was denying entry until I think something was brought up about court.
So you said something was brought up about what?
About courts.
Okay,
So
how do
she
you know?
was-
You heard that yourself from her?
No, that's.
Oh, you heard it from somebody else?
The lease agent. She said that she wasn't gonna let us.
Okay,
in
that's
there.
hearsay.
Okay.
And are you the manager of the entire complex?
I'm the maintenance supervisor.
Supervisor. And how many maintenance employees are there?
We have 4 now.
And how are maintenance requests handled?
Well, they're generated on the computer, and every morning I'll go in. There's 2 sections. One's it's done by date. So as the newest one's on top. And we normally, I'll print those out, assign them to each maintenance person. And there's either permission to enter, no permission to enter. And we try to make contact with the resident. If we don't have permission to enter, whether we call them or leave a note, we go take care of the work orders, and it's brought back to me in the afternoon and it's closed out as completed.
And if the tenant denies entry, is there a process to contact the tenant about gaining entry to make this?
We usually say I have them notified, a notice sent to them.
The notice I got, you said.
Ma'am, you have to wait till your turn, then you can ask them questions.
Have you received any other requests to make repairs in Miss Henry's unit?
I have not, no.
I don't know for the questions, Your Honor.
Okay, you have questions for him?
Yeah, on this paper, you guys stated you guys were gonna come in anyways, regardless, and then you stated that you were gonna be between June 22nd and June 30th. I literally sat at home every day waiting for you guys to come between June 22nd and June 30th. Literally, I never went nowhere. I didn't even get up and take my kids to school. I let them get on the cattle bus and let them ride the bus to get to school because I was literally waiting here for you guys to come. Because like you stated, my brother wasn't gonna let you guys in, and I wasn't gonna let you guys in. That was in May.
So what's the question? Why didn't they come?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why they didn't come between June 22nd and June 30th. Like nobody ever came.
Can you answer that?
Nobody came.
I am totally unaware of that letter being sent to her.
Okay.
It's not something I generated.
That's a maintenance letter?
Pardon me?
This is to inform you that maintenance this is from the office, that maintenance will be coming to your unit to complete some work that needed to be done from our housing agency. And then it says the dates are followed, and then it gave me these dates and the time between 9 and 4. If you're not home, the maintenance man will enter your home anyways.
Okay, so the question was, are you aware why no one appeared on that date and time to do the repairs?
I am not. If I would have been aware of that letter, I would have made sure that somebody would have went on those days.
Still have
Can
yet.
you give me a copy of that letter too?
Still have yet they have came to fix anything, and then they still have yet to came. You came.
So the question is, how come you haven't been since the date of that? I'm taking what you're saying and making the questions for you because they have to be questions. Why haven't they gone since the date of that letter to do any repairs?
The last I was told, she was not allowing entry.
When were you told that?
I had made I believe it was May 17th. I went over there, so it would have been the following, which was a Thursday, I believe.
And what was the date of that letter?
June 22nd to June 30th.
Okay, so since June 22nd, you haven't heard that she wasn't allowing anyone in there? It was prior to that?
No, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, ma'am?
My fire fixtures, the cords are not correctly up there, so they've been up there for no reason this whole time. That's why the maintenance guy told me that he was gonna be back to fix it. And he still has not came back to fix it.
Why wasn't
And
anyone
all
there
of
to
them,
fix
each
the
room.
fire,
The fire little, thing.
fire detectors?
All of them is gone from every room.
Do you know why anyone hasn't been there to fix the fire?
I do not. I mean, if she allows entry tomorrow morning, I will be there first thing in the morning
Okay.
to resolve it. I was unaware of it.
Any other questions?
No, I have no issue. I'm just trying to figure out why y'all keep on saying that y'all coming to fix stuff. I got my daughter to say that y'all gonna come fix something. Matter of fact, I should just bring her up as a witness because she was there. They've been there millions of times with them stating that they're gonna come fix something and never come.
Okay, you've given that testimony. You don't need your daughter to come and say that the same thing. I don't dispute that that's your argument.
It's just a principle, like y'all, I mean.
But I just want to know if you have any more questions for
No.
him, or can he leave the stand? Okay, thank you. Did you have any more witnesses today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and you were gonna call your daughter to testify as to
Never mind.
the mice, but I think that your other evidence supports that there is in fact a mice infestation. And you stated that they did not come in to fix the issues. I don't think that they're disputing that they didn't come in, but they're stating that they didn't come in because
prior to that, they had not came in.
Then you can't keep cutting me off though. They said that they didn't come in because of you're not allowing them, at least that is the maintenance supervisor's recollection from May of 2023. He doesn't know of any, he doesn't know about this letter that clearly came out after that, indicating that they would be there from June 22nd to June 30th. And so he can't speak to why no one appeared there during that time. So I don't think your daughter actually needs to testify as to that, but if you
Jeffrey came on June 22nd. He came in and told me that he would be back to fix everything the next day.
Oh, so you're saying Jeffrey did come on the 22nd and then he said.
This paper right here, that's what I was trying, that's the only reason why I brought it, because he dated it. The day he brought me this paper.
Who you yelling at?
I'm sorry. The day he brought this paper to me, he dated this. Or whatever, whoever dated it. He brought me this paper the day he dated this.
On June 22nd?
Correct.
And
then,
said he would come back the next day?
Correct.
And then he never came back?
I have not seen him.
Okay.
Until I seen him in my camera on July 6th. I just seen him.
Yeah, at your property?
Yeah, he was just knocking at the door July 6th. I wasn't home.
To fix things maybe?
Maybe that's what he was doing, but I just.
There was no answer?
Nobody answered. Nobody was there. Like I said, I've stayed out on my friend's house. Been staying over here. I come home, get my clothes, and leave. And it was quiet.
Okay, and your position is that you've not been at the property, you've been residing somewhere else because you believe you've been constructively evicted, correct?
The mold. I don't want to be staying somewhere where I'm gonna keep on being sick. I'm sick every day. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, and any other evidence or argument to that, ma'am? Any rebuttal?
Your Honor, I've not seen any evidence of mold or alleged. Yes.
Well, I do have this. It says there's a black light substance in the ceiling in the bathroom, so I don't know what that is, but.
I showed it to you.
To who?
You, last time I was here.
Of a black light substance?
The black mold.
I think you probably were supposed to bring me a picture of it though, is what I actually did bring me today, because I can't take your phone in my chambers and review evidence that way. I need.
Oh, I didn't know that, because I would have definitely took that picture of that thing, because that's the only thing I've been doing, having my daughters take pictures.
You have pictures in your phone?
I have the video. I don't have the pictures like this.
You have a video in your phone of
the black mold.
The black mold, and you said you showed me that. Let me see this video. Because you probably did, but that's not submitted as evidence because it's on your phone.
It's taking forever to download here. She took it as a picture. I can make it as a picture and send it as a file. It's both. It's a video and a photo.
Okay, if you have video and photo, email it to Judge Simmons Courtroom at lansingmi.gov. the photos, and then that way I can have them and we can make sure Mr. Lum gets a copy of them.
You said email it to what? Sims?
Can you give her the email, please? Okay, and then you didn't have any more rebuttal witnesses?
I know, yeah.
Okay. Any other argument from you?
I wanted to say that, Ms. Henry has contributed to the maintenance staff not being able to.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Ms. Henry's contributed to the maintenance staff not being able to enter her property. To make the notice.
Okay, because I need time to review all of this evidence, I'm going to have to reset this hearing for a ruling. You all can appear via Zoom for that hearing. You don't have to come because there shouldn't be any more evidence at this point. July 19th at 2:30.
Okay, absolutely.
July 19th at 2:30 for my ruling. You can appear via Zoom. You cannot be driving. You cannot be in a loud background. You can't be walking around. So if you need to appear in person to make sure that doesn't happen, then you should do that. But I will allow the parties to appear virtually just for the purposes of giving my ruling, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
I'll give you a copy of the notice to appear for that date and time. Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
I know you're right.
Okay, you're all set, ma'am.
I don't have no problem with it.